What if I told you that Clark Kent has already appeared in a Marvel comic book? What if I told you that Jack Nicholson didn't want to be the Joker? Or that Tobey Maguire was almost recast? Stay tuned in this video, where I've gathered 8 superhero universe curiosities that I bet you don't know. 1. Jack Nicholson. Responsible for one of the most iconic portrayals of the character Joker, Jack Nicholson hesitated before getting involved in the Batman Project, 1989, directed by Tim Burton. At the time, producers considered Robin Williams for the role of Joker and informed Nicholson about this choice. The actor rethought and decided to take on the challenge, which caused some resentment in Williams, who only collaborated with Warner Brothers again after the studio apologized. Furthermore, Jack Nicholson took a financial risk in this film. Although he received an initial payment of $4 million, a substantially lower amount than the standard for a veteran in a production of this scale. He included clauses that guaranteed a proportional share in box office profits and in marketing actions using his image. The result? Nicholson profited over $50 million just from the film, maintaining himself for years as one of the highest-paid actors in Hollywood. 2. Superman, worthy of Mjolnir. In the early 2000s, a historical milestone occurred with the collaboration between Marvel and DC in the epic crossover between Justice League and the Avengers. Interestingly, in the 4th issue of this series, we witness an extraordinary moment. Superman reveals his worthiness by lifting Thor's mystical hammer, Mjolnir. During the final confrontation involving the Avengers and the Justice League against the villain Krona's stronghold, Superman emerges as the last and most formidable barrier between the heroes and their enemy. Thor, generous, throws his hammer, and the surprise is evident. Superman is worthy. With a powerful blow, the barrier is knocked down. Unfortunately, Superman and magic don't get along, and the hero admits that the power is too overwhelming to control. The page that eternalizes this event certainly stands out as one of the most legendary in comic book history. Tell me in the comments, have you read this crossover? 3. Clark and Lois in Thor's comic? There's a funny moment involving Thor, who needs a disguise to blend in on Midgard as a simple human. In this unusual situation, Nick Fury has the perfect solution for him. Glasses. That's right, and the curious thing is that Fury states that this disguise works with the other guy. But the confusions don't stop there. Thor, inadvertently, bumps into a journalist who finds him extremely similar to someone but can't identify who. When the journalist is called by his colleague, we discover his name, Clark. Yes, this is one of the rare moments where Clark Kent and Lois Lane cross over into the Marvel Universe. Surprisingly, this version of Clark is not Superman. 4. Tobey Maguire almost wasn't Spider-Man. This is interesting. Sony didn't have Tobey Maguire as their first choice to play the hero. Even at 25 years old at the time, Maguire wasn't the studio's favorite, as they considered him mismatched for the lead role. However, his work in the movie, The Cider House Rules, certainly stood out and led him to win the role, despite the initial doubts of the production. Can you imagine that, for many, the best Spider-Man in movies wasn't the favorite to get the role? 5. Spider-Man. Mysterio, almost, was Spider-Man. Another one for the web-slinger. Jake Gyllenhaal, who played a great role as the villain Mysterio in Spider-Man Far From Home, almost had the chance to play the hero in 2004 when Tobey Maguire got injured during the filming of Seabiscuit. However, Maguire recovered in time and reached an agreement with the producers, reassuming the iconic role. It's curious to think how it would have been if Gyllenhaal had ended up playing Spider-Man at that time. And it's good that Tobey recovered and returned as Peter Parker in The Great Spider-Man 2. 6. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The creators of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Peter Laird and Kevin Eastman, were inspired by the accident that gave Daredevil his powers to create our favorite pizza lovers. But the duo had to work hard to turn the Master Splinter's apprentices into a great success. The first issue of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was written in Peter Laird's room, but they didn't want to convey the image of an amateur comic. That's why they developed the Mirage Studios label, joking that the studio didn't exist and was just a mirage. They cleaned out their bank accounts and borrowed money from Kevin Eastman's uncle, totaling $1,700. With that money, they printed 3,000 copies of the first issue and listed the magazine in the Comic Buyer's Guide. The bizarre story caught the public's attention, and today, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are a global phenomenon. 7. Silver Age of Comics. In 1948, German psychiatrist Frederick Wertham began to relate juvenile delinquency to comic books. In the same year, several comic book publishers created the Association of Comics Magazine Publishers, ACMP, already aiming to protect themselves from possible government censorship. Thus, the first code of alignment for comics was born, trying to ease the persecution a bit. To diversify its catalog, DC began to release science fiction, western, comedy, and romance narratives, especially in the early years of the 1950s, a period when the popularity of superheroes was declining. Many superheroes had their storylines absurdly altered. Batman, for example, stopped having his crime-fighting stories and started having stories focused on science fiction. 8. Batman vs. Fantastic Four. In 2002, DC Comics decided to launch a commemorative edition in honor of Batman's 63rd anniversary month. To celebrate, the publisher released Batman, the 10-cent adventure, a comic book costing only 10 cents. The success was such that more than 20,000 copies had to be reprinted to meet the demand of buyers. In response, Marvel decided to release Fantastic Four issue 60 for only 9 cents. Furthermore, the House of Ideas partnered with Domino's Pizza, and the magazines were also distributed with customer orders. Now, I want to hear from you. Did you already know these curiosities? Which one surprised you the most? Leave your thoughts in the comments for me to read. I want to know your opinion. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and activate notifications to stay informed about everything regarding your favorite heroes and characters.